let's say now I have to create a dashboard. Okay. For example, I'll say any company dashboard. So I'll name it as company for now. So this is my dashboard. Now what happened is, you can see my Excel file, right? Now you will get a requirement like this. You will get a requirement like this. For example, user will say that I want a dashboard. Okay. So let's say user will say that I want a dashboard where I need a title. You will have to enter a title. Then I want 4 graphs. 1, okay. So now you can see that they will give you a title like this. Okay. Now what you have to do is, now this is one view. Let's first understand like this. Now this is a dashboard. Now you will have, they will tell you that, okay, I want a sales dashboard. There's a requirement to create a sales dashboard. Now this should, the first dashboard, the first view should show me the sales. Now other, I want to see profit. Next one is discount. And this one, quantity. And over here, I want filters. And so he will tell you what kind of filters you want, or you can ask him that what filters you want. So let's say he says that I want, for example, region filter. Okay. And city, and let's say category. Now this is one dashboard. Okay, this is a requirement that client has given to you, that I want to see a sales. Okay, that how much or I'll take it sales for, let's say, category wise, subcategory wise sales. There's just an example. Okay, so let's say this is subcategory wise sales. Now this will be like subcategory wise profit. Other is subcategory wise discount. How much for every subcategory has given a discount. Now to create this dashboard, I need to create 4 worksheets, right? A sheet for sales, a sheet for profit, and 1 sheet for discount, and 1 for quantity. Now I'll start working on this. So right now, let's say I'll take subcategory and I'll put it over here. We will cover all those things. So right now, only thing is I'm trying to explain you that how a dashboard is created. Later on, how to create all these worksheets and dashboard will cover. Just to clear your doubt, I'm doing this. So even if you don't understand this, how I have created this worksheet, that is fine. So now let's say I'm making sales. This is my sales dashboard. I'll name it as sales. First dashboard is created. Now let me rename this also sales. Sales dashboard, sales worksheet is created. Now the next is profit. Let me create a profit dashboard. I'll put this over here again, subcategory, and I'll say profit. I'll create profit like this. Now what is the next worksheet is quantity. I'll use this and I'll say right now, don't concentrate on how I'm creating a worksheet, right? I'm creating in a different way. There are other ways also to create a worksheet. This is just, okay, so don't bother about that right now. Subcategory. Now what next? Discount. So now let's say I have created. Now let's go back to our the requirement document. So I have created my sheet for sales, profit, discount, and quantity. Now I cannot share this to my client, right? This worksheet, right? Because I need to update a filter. So now let's say I'll add the filters. What filters he has given? Region, city, and category. Let's add that region. I'll put it over here. I'll say all. Okay. Region, city. I'll add the city filter also over here. I'll say all. And I'll say okay. Now what next? Region, city, and category. I'll say category. I'll put the category also over here. Say all. I'll say okay. Now let me apply this to all. So you can say pivot as dashboard. You in some extent, not exactly, but yes, most of the companies they share pivot. Like you have your data, on top of that you create a pivot in a tabular format and you share it with your client. So now let's say I have till now what I have achieved from this requirement document. I have created this sheet, these 4 sheets. I have also created the filters. Now I'm ready with my dishes, all these dishes, right? Sales dish, profit, discount, and quantity. Now I need to present it to my client. So I have to use all my sheets in my dashboard, right? Yes, this is my final plate. So now it says that you should have a sales title. So I'll add a title over here. I'll name it sales dashboard like this. Make it in the center. I'll click OK. Now my title is ready. Now I have 4 dashboards, right? So I'll use this one. So till now, is it clear that worksheets is the area where you create your views? Once you have created your views, this is the dashboard that you will share with your client. And just to answer, if you want to know about this title, this is the option where I click and the title appears. Okay. Now I'll add my all 4 worksheets. So let's say this is how I'll sales and profit on the right, yes, and quantity and discount and quantity like this. So now if you see over here, is it these 4 views also done? Now I need to add a filter on the right? So I'll add a filter container also like this. So I'll add filters over here. Now that is separate thing, okay? So I'll add these filters over here and I'll name it, let's say, filters. And click on OK. Now I'll add all the filters over here. Now let's use category, city, and region. So we should always update it on the hierarchical basis. There is suggestion, not compulsory, but region. Under a region, there are cities. Under city, you can have category, right? So just update it accordingly. Now I have all my filters also. So this is how you will create a dashboard. Now, what I required to create a dashboard? Do you need to create a dashboard? Right? Worksheet. Now let's say this is story. Can you see? This is very least used. So hardly anybody will ask you to create a story, but then also we will cover this. So now let's say somebody has asked me, I want a story. You need to create a story. So now if I want to create a story, let's say let's first delete this one. Let's say one more dashboard I have created. Okay. And I'll name it as dashboard 2 for now. So there are two dashboards, right? Over here, dashboard 1 and dashboard 2. Now in this dashboard, I cannot use a dashboard. This is one dashboard. Dashboards cannot be used in a dashboard. In a dashboard, I can only use worksheets. Is it clear? You can use the same worksheet in dashboard 2 also. Let's say like this. Let's come to the story. Now that is what I said in the starting, the hierarchy, not order of operation. Order of operation is a separate thing that I'll explain after this. So I said the order, how the workflow flow chart works. You guys have heard about flow chart, right? You know what flow chart is. So to start working on a requirement, first thing that you would require is data. That is here, data source. Once you get this data source, then second step is you will create worksheet. Okay. So if you don't have if you don't have data, you cannot do anything. So first thing is, in the flowchart of Tableau, first thing you will do is you would need data source, data. You need to first connect to data. Once you are connected, then you will create worksheets. Once you have created the worksheet, then you will create the dashboard. Then only until and unless you don't create a worksheet, you won't be able to create a dashboard. Even when I'm saying that you won't be able to create a dashboard, you can. Without a worksheet also, you can create a dashboard. But again, that would be a simple text. Let's say you can write something, but dashboard is not only text, right? I can write something over here, but it will be manual. So to create a dashboard, you need worksheets. Any doubt till here, guys? We will cover this in detail when we cover the topic dashboard. But just now, I'm only showing you the workflow. Now, once my dashboard is ready, even if I don't have any dashboard, I can create a story. But if I don't have a worksheet, I cannot create a dashboard, but a story I can create. So now can you see I have this sales sheet, this is a worksheet, these 4 are worksheet, and these 2 are dashboard, right? I can use worksheets and dashboard also in my story. Let's say I'm using one worksheet over here, and I'll use a dashboard over here. Now, can you see if I go to this, I can also use the worksheet. I can also use the dashboard in my story. Understood, guys? So see, dashboard till dashboard you have understood, right? But in story, you can use both worksheet and stories both. This is simple. So I have used, this is one worksheet. I have shown you the example. I have used, this is worksheet, right? Sales. So I have used the worksheet here. Also, I have used the dashboard over here. This is company is a dashboard, right? This is one dashboard I have used over here. So how to create a story, that we will learn later. Now only understand that in story, we can use worksheets and also dashboards. But in dashboard, we can only use worksheets. So let's delete this one. For now, we don't need this. So Okay, now let's talk about order of operation. Now, what is order of operations? So I hope you guys can see my screen, right? This is the order of operations. So this is how Tableau works. So what Tableau does is, let's say if I drag this subcategory and drop it over here, okay, in the view or anywhere, like anything I do in my dashboard, anything, okay. So if I use a filter or if I create a view or if any command I give to Tableau over here, let's say I put this subcategory over here. Now, what Tableau has done is to give me this output. Now, let's say if I use this category over here and drop it in this area anywhere. So what you are able to see right now, this output, right? Category, furniture, office supplies, and technology, correct? Now, when I drag this and put it over here in the text, now you can see this furniture, right? This numbers over here. To give you this output, what you are able to see right now, Tableau has certain order of operations that Tableau execute at the backend. So what things it will do? Let's say if I put a filter over here, if I put a filter over here, okay, and if I click on all, or let's say if I uncheck the furniture over here. So now I can see only office supplies and technology, right? But ideally there are three options: furniture, office supplies. So how did I get this office supplies and technology only? How Tableau at the back end, he has an order of operations. So this is what order of operations is. So what Tableau did over here in this one, you can see this page, right? Along with Tableau, right? Both. So what Tableau does is when you update this category, so Tableau first checked went to your data source and it checked, have you applied any extract filter over here? It finds no, you haven't applied any extract filter. Second thing he checked, did you applied any data source filter over here? This is the data source filter. So you have not applied any data source filter over here. Now, next thing what it will check, have you applied any context filter? It will go to worksheet. It will check for context filter. No, nothing you have applied. Now there are certain calculations. Now Tableau will see that have you used any of this calculation, set, conditional, top, and filter. So these all things we will cover what these calculations are, but he will check for these calculations. Now he will say, now it will check for this calculation. Now you have not applied any calculations over here. I can see over here there is no calculations created. Now it will see the dimension filter. So last class we have discussed what is dimension, right? These are dimensions, correct? These are dimension, these are measures. So I can see that there are two dimensions has been applied, dimension filter over here, category and subcategory. And in the dimension you have selected only office supplies and technology. So it will execute this. So after that it has executed and it has given you this output, office supplies and technology. Understood? To see
Yes.
this, to get this output, Tableau does this order of operations before giving you the answer. So in case when you will start working, I'll also show you that how it happens, difference. Now, if your number does not match, so you always check for the order of operations. It might happen that you have applied any of these somewhere, and Tableau will first execute all these lists. It will check every details one by one. First check this, then this, then this. So this is the order. Can you see the order arrow from top to bottom? It will check everything. Then it will give you the output. Understood the difference between order of operations and flowchart, right? So dimensions, I'll give you some hint. Like if you want to understand in a simple words, dimensions will always have a text value like this, title or names, column names, right? So that will be for your understanding. It's not the proper definition, but if you want to understand in simple way and keep it in your mind, then just understand when you see on the top, you will always have the dimensions. You'll have these dimensions on the top. You will see a measure name. Anything before this, on top of this, will be a dimension, and anything below this, okay, and above this, measure values, that will be your measures. And measures will always be a value. Value means like sales. Okay, sales has value, right? It has numbers. But subcategory or row ID, these are like text values. These are not quantity. These are qualitative values and these are quantity values. And slowly when you will start working, you even don't require to memorize all these things. It will become very easy for you to memorize this. Okay, so now I have already discussed these features. These are all the options that we have seen in the data source also, right? The few things will be extra over here, like duplicate, rename, hide. We have there also alias, also create, calculated field and sets, other things. This is different thing that we will discuss. There are many things to discuss. Groups, sets, groups we have covered, right? Set we need to discuss. Parameter we need to discuss. Transform we have seen. Split, custom split. And also you can convert this dimension to measures and measures to dimension if you want. If I want to convert this to a dimension, I can do that. But only thing is, if you are converting a dimension to measures and measures to dimension, it should be correct. It happens that, let's say, your Tableau, it didn't identify it correctly, or you find that you want to change this to profit, to a dimension. So what happens is, with a measure, always there is an aggregated value will be assigned. So if you drag this and drop it in this area or anywhere, you see there is an aggregation level has been assigned to these values, to measures. It will be either sum. Can you see it has sum of sales, right? I have not dropped it. Now you can see this sum. So by default, aggregation level is sum in Tableau, but you can always change this value. Let's say I want to, there are these list of aggregation level. You want to see the average. You select average, it will change to average. If you select minimum, maximum, whatever you want. But now you see the difference. If I change this is the sales. Now, if the same thing, if I change it to discrete, it will go up, go at the top over here. Can you see the sales? Where is sales? Can you see? Convert to dimension. Now, can you see the sales is here now? Now, if I drag it and drop it over here, now there is no aggregation level assigned. Now, if I drop it, now you will see it will say all members. Now, if I add this, can you see individual sales has been assigned? What is this individual sales? Basically, if you go to this data source, you have every record, each record, right? In sales, there are certain records, right? For one order, there are 1954, 25. These are individual records, correct? That is what dimension is. It will show you all individual records. You see here, there are a lot of individual records are there. And this is now again a qualitative value. Now you want to see, if you want to see sum of sales, then you need to change it to measure. If I say sum of sales like this, can you see? Now it will convert to a measure over here. But still your field is in dimension, but you have changed it over here. So these all things you can do, like you can either change it over here, or if you want to simply change it to like continuous, you can also use it. Sorry, not continuous, measures. You can always select this and do the change. I can drag this sales over here also. And if you want, it's your wish. It's your wish how you want to do it. I can write it over here also directly and enter sum of sales, same field. But instead of dragging, I write it over here. So whatever way you find easy, you can do that. Any doubt in this? So now this was regarding the dimensions and measures. And always remember that dimensions will not come with the aggregation. Measures will always have an aggregation level assigned to it. Okay. And there is next is discrete and continuous. Discrete is individual non-aggregated value. It's same like dimensions. It will be in blue. If your value, if this pill, these are pills, or you can say text value or the field. These are fields, or in Tableau we call it pills. If these pills are in blue, if you see this, these all are blue. These are in green. So green will show you continuous. If you see that value is in green, that understand that that is a continuous value. If you see it blue in blue color, then understand that that is a discrete value. Okay. Now again, even if you want to create an axis, you would need a continuous value. If you use a continuous value in your worksheet area, it will create an axis. So I'll show you now. Let's say if I drag this category in this one, it will not create any axis. Can you see any x-axis or y-axis over here? No, right? But if I drag this sales over here, you can see there is an axis created over here, 0 to 200, like this. If I put the profit over here, it will create a y-axis. Can you see there are two axes over here, right? I hope you guys are aware of graphs, right? You must have learned this in your 10th, 12th.
Yes.
Yeah. So x-axis and y-axis same. But so because I have dragged this measures, so it is showing in green. So this is continuous. Now, if I change this to blue, let's say if I change this to discrete, what happens? Can you see the axis has gone? Now, if I change this also to, let's say discrete, this axis is also gone. Now it has converted in a text. It's still a measure, but it is a discrete measure, right? Now let's say if I want to create a table chart, now I'll remove this. Now let's say if I select this subcategory and I drop it over here. Okay. Now what I want is I want these three. So let's say see. Can you see? Now, do you have any doubt in this? Let me first understand that. Don't you think that, see, I said that, so like if it is in green, ideally it should create access over here, correct? But it did not create any access. So that means I was wrong. What I said is wrong. Don't you think so? Let's say I remove it, but then also there is no access created. But as what I said, what I have told you, that if your value is in green continuous, it will create access, right? I was correct. I was not wrong. What I told you. The difference over here is, so I'm not using this value in my columns or rows. These are your axes, right? These are your column and rows. If I would have used, this is just a text value. I have used this in the text, not in the axis. This will create your axis. If you use the field in columns or rows, then it will create axis. Let's assume, now let's say, instead of this, if I use this, let me remove this. Okay, now if I use this sales into the column, then it will create access. Using this sales in over here, it will not create access. Understood? If I use this over here, now what it has done, it has created a horizontal table, right? A vertical table. Now if I change this, if I put it over here and I put it over on the top, it will create a horizontal table. So this is how the axis has been created. It will change the axis. Basically, if you want to change the axis, if you want to put it x or on the x-axis, you will use it like this. If you want to change it, you can also do it. Interchange the axis. Can you see? It's what it says, swap the rows and columns. Now this is y-axis. So now I want to put it on x-axis. So let's say I put it over here and I'll put it over. I'll drag and drop it over here. It's changed, right? So it's very simple. Either instead of doing that manually, you can simply select this swap rows. It will change the graph.